I never know if it's on or not, but nevertheless, I can see we are recording and everything is up and going. Good afternoon to you and welcome to the show. If you've just switched on, I almost said if you've just switched on your wireless, but we're not on the wireless, we're actually on the internet. Thank you for visiting the Rainbow Radio page again, and welcome to this very short and very brief podcast. Okay, so that's just the thing that I'd like to touch on. There was a scary story floating around on the internet last week, and it had to do with learners who's in grade 6 and they're unable to spell their surnames. Now, when learners are at school in younger grades, I think in the foundation phase, this is where they get taught to write their names, to write their surnames. It's just basic writing skills, apart from, of course, also literacy skills and mathematics skills. Now, I know the one main contributor to this would definitely be, and many would agree with me, is the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I don't know why the article actually pointed out the grade 6 learners. Now, these are the learners who actually went to school the least amount of times. I know this because my son 2 years ago was in grade 4, and with complete lockdown, they couldn't get to school. When schooling was sort of reintroduced on a slow pace, it so happened that the school that he's at, that school's grade 4 learners really didn't get much contact time with teachers, and I think we went back to level 4 when just a week before he had to go to school. We went back to level 4, and which of course meant that he couldn't go to school. So I know that the grade 4s of 2019, which are supposed to be now in grade 6, are really the ones who had little contact time, and this really shows the devastating effects the pandemic had on our learners. What I have noticed is that a lot of schools has introduced what they call intervention classes. This basically means that some learners are identified and they are being asked, with the permission of the parents of course, to stay behind, either come in earlier or stay behind a little later in the afternoon. Not every day, of course. It will be agreed upon and communicated to the parents as to which days these learners would need to stay behind, when it will be required from them either to stay behind late or come in earlier. And these are all measures and efforts that the schools are putting in place to make sure that the learners gets either additional work, or that the work that they might be behind on, the work areas that they are struggling on, are being attended to, which I love. I personally love the idea. The problem that I see though, and I'm mentioning this because I saw it this past week, learners, I know that you go to school and you are required to stay maybe an hour to 45 minutes later, but then it is important for these learners to go home and also still try and revise their work. The workload is difficult. I know sometimes when you get home in the afternoon, you just want to put your bag down and just relax a bit. Maybe that is also acceptable. But what I've noticed is that a lot of learners get home, they don't even get undressed. They put their bags down and they're out on the street. Now, you can argue that yes, the learner need to switch off and unwind and just have some time for him or herself. But these learners are the ones that stays out at night until after 8 in the dark, and they don't really necessarily make time to go through their work. I think we as parents need to take responsibility as far as our children's education is concerned and enforce that yes, teachers identified that you do need additional classes or that you need to take part in the intervention program, but then still, after they've had their unwind session, which I don't think should be 2 hours, definitely not, maybe an hour and a half, probably less, then we need to encourage these children to go back to their books. We need to encourage them to revise their work again, and only then we'll be able to see the effects, the positive effects of not only the intervention classes, but also our efforts as parents to see that the kids do actually go through their work at home in the afternoon, over weekends, and during school holidays. Alright, that's just the one thing that I wanted to chat about. The other thing that I'd like to bring to your attention about our inaugural winter blanket drive, which is scheduled for Sunday the 5th of June 2022. I've received so many positive responses. I've seen people sharing the advert that is on the Facebook page. I've seen people sharing the flyer on the statuses on WhatsApp. I really thank each and every single one of you. And then I've also received a contribution. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if these people would want to be named, but I have received some contributions for the blanket drive, and I really want to thank those individuals, those persons at this stage already. Sometimes one forget to mention that word of thanks, and I don't want us to forget the people who actually came out, raised their hands, and indicated they will support this initiative. If you haven't heard, if you haven't sent the information out yet, please let your friends, let your colleagues, let your family members know about the Rainbow Radio annual winter blanket drive, where we're going to meet here in the parking lot opposite Shell Garage in the Westvia Shopping Center here in Atlantis. I really hope that for a big turnout, so that we can actually form a human chain around the Westvia Circle. And of course, all donations of blankets will be handed over to the very needy, the vulnerable of our community, and more importantly, the homeless in our community. I encourage you to please share that info, and if you've got any questions, contact me on 08491555569. Guys, thank you for this session. Thank you for listening. I need to get back to work. It was my lunchtime, but I didn't wait until tonight before I come and speak to you guys. Always a pleasure chatting to you guys, and I really appreciate each and every single one of you who either listens to Rainbow Radio when we do go on air, or you take time to listen to the podcast, or you interact on our Facebook page, or you do send a WhatsApp message. I really do appreciate all of those interactions. Until next time, have a lovely day further. Be safe out there, and just have a lovely week further. Thank you.